come on in, sit around the bead table, and look at these gorgeous colors we have to work with today. I love, love, love these bright colors. All right, and here's what, here's a little boho themed pendant or earring I came up with. I love the pattern of the, the bezel, around the bezel. This could definitely be worn as an earring or put it on a chain or a beaded chain and wear it as a pendant. So let's get some materials going here. So most of my materials are from the Eureka Crystal Beads Collection for the month of February, the Flamingo Beach Collection. If you didn't get that, that's okay. I'm sure you've got most of the supplies already. I've got a 14 millimeter rivoli. It's from Swarovski. I got an ear wire in case you want to make it an earring. And I've got a feather. You don't have to have exactly the same. This came from Auntie's Beads. It's a online beading store. They got great deals a lot of the times. But any feather will do. Any. I've got some 2 millimeter check pearls from the Dollar Bead Box. I've got some 4 millimeter check pearls. We're going to need, I think, 12 of the 2 millimeters. You can replace that with a seed bead. Just use another color seed bead if you'd like. 4 millimeter pearl or round. I've got some, I think it's 3 by 6 millimeter check rondelles. I've got some 11/0 seed beads in lustered pumpkin. I've got another color of Mayuki 11/0 seed beads in lustered turquoise. And I've got some very small bugles. I don't know if they have a size on them. No, there's no size. They're pretty short. I'm going to say they're maybe 4 millimeters long. Okay. I got some 15/0 seed beads in silver lined cyan. And I've got some 11 millimeter delicas, or 11/0 delicas. It's a cream colored AB. I forget what color that is. I've had those for a while. And yeah, I think that's, of course, we're going to need a beading needle. And we're going to need some beading thread of your choice. I'm using 8-pound fireline. 6-pound would definitely work. And I'm going to start off with a size 10 beading needle. I think that'd be sufficient. Alright, so gather your materials up. Come back and we'll get started. Okay, we got 32. Well, let's make sure, let's count. Make sure we have 32. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32. It's a pain in the butt, but it's better than getting your bezel almost fit, really into your bezel and finding out that your bead count wasn't correct. So let's go through and make this a circle by going through that first delica. the last delica actually, by the stop bead up through the end. And that's so, I mean, it's hard to work with like that. So I like to sew around. But first let's put our rivoli in and see if it's the right size. Okay, I think that's about the right size. It's pretty well, it might be not completely big enough to go around, but we want it a little smaller because this is going to be the back. So we want to be able to hold it in good. Better a little small than big. So let's just come around our delicas, and it makes it easier to work with after they've been reinforced. At least that's been my experience. I don't like when it comes apart when you're trying to work. Make sure I don't go through my stop bead there. And let's just come one or two past our stop bead. Alright, now make sure your beads are all straight and they're not bunched up. Like that. And now we're going to start peyote. I really need to get me a rubber mat to put under here. My mat slides everywhere when I'm trying to work. Alright, so let's pick up a delica. We're coming out of one delica. Doesn't matter which, it doesn't matter where we're coming, which one we're coming out. But, so we're coming out of a delica. We're going to skip one delica and go needle through that next delica. We're going to be pros at bezeling. I've been doing a lot of bezeling lately. So we're coming out, see how that makes a T? So that's what everyone looks like. It's a 2 1 2 1 2 1 when we're, you know, when you're finished. So let's pick up a delica. We're coming out here. Let's skip that delica and needle through the next delica. Make sure they pop in place. Pick up a delica. You're coming out one delica, skip the next delica, and needle through the one after that. And there's somewhere the bracelet I made in the last video. We made together, hopefully. Yeah, one more delica. Let's do it together one more time. Pick up a delica. You're coming out one. You're going to skip the next one and needle through the one after that. Alright, so continue to go around. Come back, we'll step up and do the next row. Alright, we're coming out. Alright. We're putting on our last bead, so pick up a delica. Sorry about my nails. I didn't wait long enough for them to dry again. I'm so bad about that. Not waiting for them to dry before I start doing something. Skip a bead. Come through the next. Skip a delica. Come through the next delica. And then the one on the diagonal. Right above it on the diagonal. And pull through. And you're ready for your next row. And now we're just going to pick up a delica, and we're going to go through every up bead. So pick up a delica, go through that next up, that sticking up delica. We're just filling in the gaps. Pick up a delica, come through that next up delica. Alright. So go around, come back, we'll step up together, and do the next row. I'm just trying my stone inside just to see. Alright, so we're coming down to the last bead. We're going to pick up a delica. Alright, do you see? We're going to skip that delica and go into the next up delica and the one on diagonal. One right above it. Okay, and now our bezel is starting to curve a little. Don't pull too tight, but it's just starting to naturally curve, and it's going to, when you put the stone and we put the, I think we need one more row. I think we need one more row of 11 O's. So let's pick up a delica, and let's just do what we did last row. Just jump over to the next up bead and fill in that gap. Delica, jump over, and fill out, no, excuse me, go around filling in all the gaps and come back and we'll start with the 15 O's. Come on. Okay, let's put on our last bead. It's hard to tell on this row, but we're coming out of one. See, we're skipping that one. We're going to go up into the last one in that row and the first one in the next row on the diagonal and pull. And there we go. And let's see what our stone looks like in there. That's about perfect. All right. Let's put our first row of 15s on. So pick up a 15-0. We're coming out of one delica. We're just going to go needle through the next delica. Pick up a 15-0. We're doing the same thing. We're just using 15-0s, okay? So go through this row and fill in the gaps with 15-0s. Come back and we'll go to the back and make sure, because that kind of evens out your bezel if you do front and then back and then move back to the front. All right, so get that done, come back, and we'll get started. Okay, now we're coming up to our last putting on our last 15-0 in this row, and so we're just gonna go through that next delica and the 15-0 on the diagonal and pull, and there we are. Now we're going to work our way around to the back real quick, and so we're going to come through the delica in between these two 15-0s. And we're just going to work our way around diagonally through each delica until we get to the back side. You might be able to go straight through. See, I just got the last 3 delicas there. Okay, and now we're going to fill in the gaps with 15-0s on the back. And we're coming out of this delica. We're just going to go through that next sticking up delica. The beads are pulled tighter. They're closer together. That's why it might be harder to get through. and they're not sticking up as high. And so you might have to look. You might have to look a little bit to see which one to go through. But go through and put a 15-0 in between each sticking up delica, and come back and we'll do the next round. Okay, here we go. We've went around once, and now I just want for you to let's go through each 15-0 that we just put on. Go through every one of those, and that's going to draw it in and tighten it down. All right, so go through every single 15-0 that we just added, and when we come back, we'll work our way back to the front and finish off the face of our bezel. Okay, coming out of this 15-0, let's just diagonally, like we did from front to back, let's just work our way from back to front. Probably go through a couple at a time on the diagonal. Make sure your thread path isn't going to show any of the thread. Okay, now we're coming out on 15-0 on the front, and we're just going to fill in the gaps on the front with this cutie, with this 15-0s. We're just doing the same thing we did. We're just going and putting a 15-0 between each 15-0 is what we're doing. Okay, and then come back and we will do the next step. Okay, we are coming out of the last we just put on our last 15-0, and we're coming out of 15-0. We want to work our way back here so we can stitch the ditch. So we're going to just diagonally, just move our needle. So we'll go there, through those 3 delicas, and I'm right where I need to be. Right in the center ditch. Okay, you've got, it looks like a diamond, and we're going to put a bead in the center of these 4 beads. You got 1, then you got 2 across, then you got 1. Okay, we're working out the ones. So what we're going to do is just take our 1 color of our 11-0s and go add them in the ditch. All right. Really simple. Just make sure you stay. I think I went too far. No, maybe not. Yeah, I did. These beads are kind of hard to work with. They're a light color. And okay, so we're just going to stay on track here by putting a bead, an 11-0, and every little ditch. Okay, you see where that is? See that? Okay, so go ahead, go around putting an 11-0 in the ditch in between every one. See, like I said, you got one bead, then you got two, then you have one. We're working in the ones. And come back and we'll do the next row. Okay. We're coming up to putting on our last pumpkin bead. And then I went directly up into that. It's like on a little diagonal into that next row. And there is that much of our bezel. Alright, now we're going to move to the turquoise beads. And we're going to fill in, we're going to jump up into the next pumpkin bead. We're going to do it 3 times. Okay, and then we're going to pick up one of our 3x6, 3x4. Let's see, I'm not sure. Maybe it's 3x4. No, I think it's 3x6. And then we're going to go up into that next bead. And we're going to try to, it don't matter, we'll when we put our next row on, it'll pull them straight, but let's try to keep them as straight as possible. For some reason, they kind of want to tilt. Okay, there's one, and we'll put on 3 more, one at a time though. Go into that next pumpkin bead, pick up a turquoise, go into the next pumpkin, one more, and then we're going to pick up our rondelle and go into the next pumpkin bead. Try to keep it straight. And then we're going to do turquoise, 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 and then a rondelle. Go ahead and complete that row. Come back and we'll do the next row. I think the hardest part is what's that word I'm looking for? I forget, but when you go back and try to reconstruct or figure out exactly what you did, because I'm bad about not taking pictures and not writing down the pattern. So let's do this. So we're coming out of a turquoise blue bead. We put on our last rondelle into the orange and stepped up into the turquoise. Okay. Now we're going to pick up a 2mm or whatever you're using, 11-0 or 8-0, and go into the next turquoise bead. And pick up a 2mm, go into the next turquoise bead, pick up a 4mm, and go into that rondelle. Make sure you keep your thread pulled tight. Okay. Pick up a 4mm, go into that turquoise. Pick up a 2mm, go into the next turquoise bead, pick up a 2mm, go into the next turquoise 11-0, pick up a 4mm pearl, and go into the next rondelle. And keep your thread pulled down tight. Okay, so we're putting 2mm in between the, we'll be putting 2mm in between these turquoise beads and a 4mm in between the rondelle and the turquoise in the corners. I'll do it with you one more time. Pick up a 4mm pearl, go into the turquoise 11-0, the first 11-0, and pick up a 2mm pearl and go into the next turquoise 11-0. And pick up a 2mm and go into the next 11-0 turquoise and pick up a 4mm pearl and go into that rondelle. Okay, meet me back here after you got the rest of them put on. Alright, I think I went around. Okay, we're coming out one of the 2mm pearls now. And I think now we're going to take the pumpkin colored 11-0s and we're going to pick up 3 and put a little picot in between these two pearls, the 2mm pearls. See? Like that. Okay. And then I believe I just came through these 3. The 4mm, the rondelle, and the 4mm. You got to do this a row at a time, you know. You got to build on each row, and it's real fun to see it take shape as you go. Sometimes the beads are so tight that they're hard to get through. You just got to work with them. Alright. Now we're going to go down into that turquoise 11-0. The beads get pretty tight. Sometimes you got to bend. Turquoise 11-0. And then the 2mm pearl. And pick up 3 pumpkin beads, seed beads, 11-0s, or whatever color you're using, and go through that next 2mm pearl. There we go. And then you're going to work your way back around to the 2mm pearls over here. You're just going to come through the 4mm, the rondelle 4mm, 11-0, turquoise 11-0, and then up into the 2mm pearl. And you're going to put your 3 seed beads. You're just going to do that all the way around. Come back, and we'll do the next row. Okay, you could stop at any time, and this would be a beautiful, beautiful bezel. But I'm going to continue on. And we're coming out of the 4mm pearl now. I'm going to pick up a little bugle. I'm going to say, I don't know, 4mm bugle. I know that's not how the sizing goes on it. And then we're going to go through the tip of that picot. Right like that. I'll pick up another and go through that 4mm pearl. And then we're going to work our way back or through the rondelle. We got plenty of room, especially in the rondelle. It's just that they're so close to the, they're just positioned closely. So you might have to bend your other beads out of the way. And bend your needle up. Then go through that pearl. Okay. And this is going to start pulling your beads into alignment. Pick up a bugle and go through that tip of that picot. And pick up another bugle and go through that pearl. That pearl, rondelle pearl. Let's make sure our beads end up where we want them. So go around doing just this on this row. All right, and come back and we'll do the last row and then put our feather on. All right. Alrighty. We're coming out of one of the bugle beads. See that? We're coming out of the bugle bead. We're going to pick up a 15-0, a 2mm, and a 15-0. And we're going to go into that next bugle bead. And pull those down into a point. Okay. And then we're going to go down through the pearl, rondelle pearl again. This is our last trip around. Oops. Try to get through. Let's see. There we go. Bending my needle all up. That's okay. It's better. I'd rather bend than break. I don't love the real hard, brittle needles that break and don't bend, but I don't like the ones that are too flimsy either. I like the John James, and there's a cheap brand also. I can't remember what the name of it is. But they're called hard needles. That's what they call them. But they bend, but they're harder than, they're not real flexible. I think it's just a Doris. I think. I'm not sure. It could be Beadalon. And 15-0, 2mm 15-0. And then we're coming out of one bugle bead. We're going to go into the next bugle bead. Make your little picot. Stand up. Okay. Let's see. If we're going to put the ear wire on, we might leave off the last, just do one more, let's see, well, to say, well, shoot, do one more over here, work your way down here, and we'll go ahead and put the ear wire on. All right. Okay. We're coming out of the last bugle we've got here to do. So let's pick up, I don't know, let's pick up a 15-0. We might have to do maybe two 15-0s, an ear wire, needle through the loop, pull it down, and then two 15-0s, and go through that next bugle bead. Be back on your side. Get one come through the loop here. Okay. All right. Now let's see if we can come back through this 2mm again to reinforce. Let's see if we can get through it. Yes. And then we'll go through the $11 turquoise. Go through that next 2mm. The word I was looking for was reverse engineer. I gotta reverse engineer it when I forget to write down the patterns, or at least take pictures. Oh shoot. I hope I can get through there without breaking it. That would be a bummer. Let's see. Now I can't get back through. Let's see. Come on, go back. Oh. Please don't break. That's the last time I'll go through. Yeah. If you don't break. Wow, it's really stuck. There we go. Let's not go through that one. I'll have to go down through the orange and the, see, I went down through the orange and the turquoise bead instead. What is going on? Something's going on with my needle. Is why it didn't want to go through. It was stuck so bad. Well, why it was stuck, because it just happened again. I gotta get a needle. I'll be right back. Okay, I switched to a small needle, a size 12, I believe, or 13. And that just makes such a huge difference. So let's go through, I need to go through this little pumpkin colored 11-0. And then I'm going to jump up into this pearl, make a right angle. Oh, that just glides through the beads. Probably should have switched sooner. It really does make a difference. The size of your needle makes a huge difference. So, and we're just going to go back through those 15 OC beads, the loop of the ear wire, and I got a 15 out back through both those next two 15 outs, the bugle, and there's our ear wire. Now I'm running out of thread, so I'm going to go ahead and tie a few half-hitch knots. I'm going to have to add thread to put my feather on with. Alright, and that's no biggie. See how that just starts gliding through the beads? That's nice. It's really nice. And tie another half-hitch knot. Now, if you have plenty of thread, you don't have to do this part. Just work your way down straight across from the air wire to the down that corner, and we will put the feather on here in a moment. I don't need a whole lot of half-hitch knots because it's not like this is a bracelet where it's going to be a lot of tugging on it. It's going to just be an earring, but we want it to be secure. Okay, so I think I'm going to make this the last knot and go through the pearl. However many I go through there. That went straight. Down through the bugle. Boy, okay. Alright, well, I'll be right back after I add some more thread, and we'll put the feather on. We're back, and all I did to put this feather on was, we're coming out of this 2mm. I picked up an 11/0. I came up through the loop and picked up another 11/0, and I went through the 2mm. Very easily with that, with this size 12 beading needle. Simple. And these 11s they lay like one in the front, one in the back of the feather, kind of. It's just, the 11s are just to hide the string. So, and then I'm reinforcing here. Gosh, that small needle's great. Okay. Reinforce, I don't know, 2 or 3 times at least. And I thought, well, maybe a piece of chain with a few dangles would look nice. So I got it out and I looked at it, and that really don't match that antique bronze or brass with that. So, and then I thought, after I looked and tried it, I just think it's great by itself. I like it. I like it just like that. with the extra dangles and beads and stuff, it just looked too, it just was too much for my taste. You might like it. So if you want, go ahead and try that. Try to add some, you know, put, I guess what you would put a jump ring right on your loop to your feather, and we'll go from there. Alright, so now let me see if I can reinforce one more time. And then we'll just start tying off. That's awesome. You know how hard, most of you know how hard those 2mm pearls are, and how dainty they are, and how, you know, normally, especially with a 10 or a size 10 beading needle, you can't get through those a whole lot of times. But you can with this. I think this might be a 13, 12 or 13. You really can. So, you know, go underneath the thread bridge, and that's the thread that's in between two beads, and then just pull until you got a loop, and then needle through that loop and pull your knot in between the two beads, and then go through the bead and pull that knot up into that bead. I can't find, these holes aren't lined up. Ouch. Oh, I'm thinking about those tiny needles. They'll go into your finger, even if it's not the sharp side. So just go down through your beads and tie a few half-hitch knots, just like I did. We'll do one more together. And pull it up into that bead. And then sew your tail thread in. Come back and we'll look at our earrings. I'm not going to fight with that on camera. Here we go. Here's our earrings. I have to put the ear wire on that one still, but I'll do that off camera. I can't wait to wear these this spring and summer. Those are going to look really cute in the summertime. Alright, everybody. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy making these and wearing them. And I'll see you in the next tutorial or bead subscription or BOHO video.